data. And now, without further ado, a warm welcome to our guest of honor today, Mr. Soichiro Tabuchi. Hello, Soichiro.
Hello, Amir. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
It's wonderful to have you. Where are you now in the world?
Actually, I'm gonna get into this after this, but I'm located in Vienna right now.
Okay, wonderful. How's the weather there?
A little bit foggy, but the temperature's fine. It's getting hot recently, but yeah, it's kind of, yeah, easy to
Okay,
spend time.
we hope you guys get a good summer. Yes.
Thanks.
Yes. So thank you so much for coming on today to discuss the Japanese timber market with us. One of the most important markets in the world, and you and your company are one of the leaders in this market. So first, could you please introduce yourself and your background?
Yeah, actually, for me, I started my career in Hanwha itself in 2017, and we have a little bit other, kind of how to say divisions inside my company. But I'm a straight got into this lumber industry and done 6 years sales in Tokyo head office. And after that, from actually last year, I was transferred to Vienna last year, April. Yeah. And started my career here, enjoying everything is going fine. And for me itself, yeah, well, personally, I kind of, had a will to be.
Apologies for that technical issue. I'm sure he will rejoin very quickly.
I'm sorry, sorry. I went out. Sorry. Yeah. And yeah, so yeah, I didn't actually, expect it to be in the lumber this kind of division, but yeah, lucky me, I was kind of transferring to this division, and yeah, I'm really proud of it. So I'm, yeah, expecting to kind of introduce myself and my company as well. Those know who doesn't actually know, I think most of them maybe know. So yeah, I'm really excited for this opportunity. Thank you very much.
Super interesting. And we're happy that, of course, that you ended up in the lumber department of Hanwha. And Hanwha is a bit of a hidden giant, actually. So can you please tell us more about it?
Okay, thank you very much. Let me kindly presentate myself. Yeah, thank you very much. So Hanwha itself was kind of established in 1947, back 77 years ago, and it started in Osaka actually. And yeah, the figures are in Japanese yen is there, trillion yen, yeah, profit and employees. We have approximately over than 1,500 people in the head office in Tokyo, Osaka, and branch office in Nagoya. But if you include our kind of how do I say group companies, the corporate companies, the overall employee will be a little bit more than 5,000. And for the domestic offices, we have approximately 20, and like me, including me, the overseas offices go around all over the world, up to around 50. Yes. And this is the kind of total net sales segment in euro. Yeah, unfortunately, the Japanese yen is weak, so the amount might be a bit sad than last year, but we can talk a little bit more about that later. But yeah,
Sorry, our results for last year.
Yes.
Yeah, our result for last year will be 14.3 billion euro in overall. So since our how do I say financial term is a little bit weird in Japan, it starts from April and ends in March. So this is the figure from 23 April until March actually. And so if you look at this, maybe some of you guys might be surprisingly, but approximately 50% is coming from the steel department, actually. And for the others, yeah, like metals, you can see foods, yeah, energy kind of things, and overseas subsidiaries. And for the housing materials, that means our lumber department is approximately actually 4% for the overall uh, turnover. Yeah. And yeah, this is the kind of brief organization. We have approximately over 85, over 80 employees working in our team right now. And I'm actually, yeah, located here in Vienna office. And yeah, and the area actually involved in this lumber business is, yeah, of course, Vienna itself. And we have several offices in China too. And hopefully and a little bit in India, but we're kind of looking for kind of establish, yeah, in the future. And this is the roughly sales transition for the our lumber division. So if you look back in like 12 years ago or something like that, if we calculate in this currency right now, it was around like 200 million euro or something. But yeah, we actually kind of succeeded, kind of grew up until like closely 100, especially in 2022 when the crisis came up. But unfortunately, that this kind of payback time we were facing last year or so a little bit went down for us, including the pricing go down and so on. And yeah, for the sales breakdown, approximately the lumber share will be at this moment around 45%. And for the housing division, we have around 53% right now. And a little bit, and also we have a little bit more of export international trades for 2%. Like we're kind of selling like logs for the domestic species to like China, and they do this kind of further processing, and they actually at the end ship out to US for the fence usage actually. And for the how was kind of handling volume roughly, unfortunately it went down pretty much last year. But uh, it was around like 20,000 cubes per month roughly from Europe, and several others from the North American China's and so on. But we still have the approximately 11% share of among Japanese companies for the sawn timber and glulam import to Japan. So we're still the biggest. And to be honest, in the latest half year, 9 month, yeah, we kind of getting back to closely, yeah, maybe 30 or something like that. And this is kind of like a business scheme that we're doing right now mainly. So the suppliers in the top part here, on the left top, and the lumber import team. We call this division one briefly. So we're here and we're gonna sell these lumber products to basically either this glulam mills for the rough sawn items and the kind of finished products like S4S and kind of glulam items to this specific pre-cut mills that they cut the lumber itself from each spec of the housing and so on. And after that, our housing teams there actually they are actually dealing directly with the housing suppliers, and they get the pre-cut orders from the housing suppliers, and they kind of how do I say give the orders to this kind of pre-cut mills and let them buy our kind of lumber products. We're kind of doing this kind of buyback business, and this is kind of like a main business schemes that we're actually doing right now. Yeah. And for Hanwha, for this kind of Prika business, for this simple traditional wooden house, we're approximately handling 1,300 units per month. So hopefully, yeah, one of the biggest. Yeah. And if you go a little bit another for the housing parts, also besides these pre-cuts, we're handling this kind of housing materials, including or not also including, but yeah, 1,500 units per month. And yeah, for the pre-cut housing materials, we are also, looking forward to make the shares even more up. And this is maybe the one of the kind of curious point from the European guys, maybe that we also do this kind of collaborating business with our steel department. They briefly they kind of prepare the raw materials for the steels and delivery to this kind of specific mill to make this ceiling joist. We call this kose nobuchi, a steel ceiling joist, and this is actually the one of the maybe biggest competitor of the Russian timber for this 30 by 40 diameter. Maybe we can talk about this later, but yeah, we're also kind of involved in this market, and we actually achieved 5,600 units per month in 2023. So yeah, and we have six factories in Japan. So I this is maybe one of the reasons that it's affecting the Russian timbers. Maybe you can talk about it later, but yeah. And also others, we have this kind of steel materials combined related to this housings and combining with our lumber, business, working each other, and we're step by step aiming to grow even more unit numbers in the future. Yeah, that'll be a brief explanation for our Hanwha itself. Thanks.
Super, super interesting indeed. Thank you for making that introduction about your company. So you're a big player. You play the market globally. So what are the top factors that you and your company track when you analyze the Japanese timber market?
Yeah, basically, well, since we are kind of involved with this housing division right now, so the basic how do I say the factors we have to look for, it will be the housing starts actually. Since the usage of this lumber, this for this housings and construction is kind of taking pretty much share in Japan, and every time we were kind of taking care of this specific numbers, and look how the demand is going. But on the other hand, the maybe one of the kind of concern is that of course the population in Japan as well, and how the over economic trend is going on in Japan. So how do I say? Maybe I can show you a little bit about this kind of Japan's situation at this moment.
Yes,
But
please.
I hope you guys can see it right now. Yeah. So the overview in Japan, yeah, maybe the figures might be a little bit different, but yeah, the expectation that we're actually, and from my understanding, is Japan is actually inflation. From the inflation point of view, it was really low, as you can see on the transition compared to especially US and EU, but it's step by step kind of, achieving upper. And from my understanding, I think it's not so much big difference with the others. But let's say on the other hand, this kind of, and also sorry, for the long-term interest rate, actually it's still like under 1% within this May this year, surprisingly. To be honest, it went up more than 1%, this year since this first time in 11 years or something. But still, it's going up and down at this really tiny, tiny level. So yeah. But on the other hand, because of this, good or bad, this number of foreigner tourists is still starting to visit, and well, there's not still big immigration numbers in Japan, but hopefully this kind of figures will help us our industries in the future as well. Yeah. So basically, we're looking at this figures for the housing starts and so on, and yeah. since how do I say, the last year's result was kind of still okay. It was approximately 820,000 housing units in total annually. So if we, of course, there's also bigger markets, but if we talk about, let's say, this population, 124.3 million right now in Japan, actually still, personally, think a very good level. Um, yeah. So this kind of housing starts figures that we are actually most focusing right now, to be honest.
Very, very interesting indeed. So if we combine all of this,
Yes.
oh, sorry, did you have more slides to show?
Yeah, sorry.
Yes,
I
please
forgot.
continue.